Hi everyone, Petrik here. We are already in the month of July and I cannot believe that in the month of June I actually posted only 2 or 3 videos. That's ridiculous, I know. Well, trust me, I've been trying to maintain everything as best as I could to balance everything in my plate, and it's a lot. It's a lot of things to balance, but I'm doing the best I can. And something that I just realized, and I only realized this after a few people messaged me on Instagram asking where's my book haul videos. So today, I finally remembered that I haven't posted my April, May, and June book haul videos. I'm not going to combine all 3 months into one video because that's insane. That's too many books to talk about in one video. But instead, today I'll be talking about the books that I acquired in the month of April and May. And I think in total we have about 40 books to talk about. So I would try to be really brief with each of them. I don't want to take too much of your time here, but come, take a look at my new acquisition to my library of books, and maybe they will be useful to your purchase and collection as well. If you're not a fan of book haul, as usual, just scroll away from watching this video. So for the first one, let's talk about the books that I purchased first. First, we have The Poet Empress, the US hardcover edition, and this edition is actually very well produced. The cover art is beautiful. It is done by Kelly Chong, and I don't know if you can see it here, but there's some glitter on the front cover. Plus, this comes with gilded edges, bronze gilded edges, and paper artwork, and also naked hardcover of the front cover art. It's beautiful, and it comes with soon binding and acid-free paper as well. And I think that's really nice. This is one of my favorite books of the year. It could even become my favorite book of the year. And after that, I also got a copy of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. So this is the UK hardcover edition. It is slightly different to the US hardcover edition. It is not as floppy, and on the edges you can see the writing here: the greatest of the Jedi, the greatest of the Sith. This is on the edges, and also this is the end paper. And on the board we have All Things Die, Anakin Skywalker. So yeah, this is gorgeous, and it also comes with this reversible cover art. Ta-da! So yeah, overall, I think this is a beautiful edition. Plus, I heard this is the best Star Wars novelization from the movies. It is written by Matthew Stovall, who wrote Heroes Die, one of my favorite books. So yeah, looking forward to reading this one, but I love the movie Revenge of the Sith. And finally, for the last 2 books that I bought that arrived, these are heavyweight. This is for the Deluxe edition of Vinland Saga, Volume 7 and also Volume 8. So yeah, this contains, each volume here, it contains 3 volumes of the manga novel, of the manga volumes. And of course, because Vinland Saga is one of my favorite manga series, and I just have to acquire every single copy of Vinland Saga into my collection. I love this story. I think this is a great story about redemption, kindness, and also loyalty. And yeah, if you haven't read or watched Vinland Saga, highly recommend it. And yeah, I think this is the best way to actually read this series in this in this big format. So beautiful. And yeah, those are the books that I purchased that arrived in the past 2 months. Now let's move on to the self-published fantasy or sci-fi copies that I got in the month of April and May. First, we have Soft Touch by Daniel Polanski. So this is being published by Grimdark magazines. And Daniel Polanski is, I think he's most well known for his Lowtown Grimdark fantasy series. Back when I started Goodreads, I heard a lot of great things about the Lowtown series, but now I think the hype toward that series has kind of died down, and I think this is one of the ways to rejuvenate the interest in the series. Again, I look forward to reading Lowtown for the first time, and I think the cover art done by Fran Vegas here looks beautiful. And next we have a copy of The Swamp by Palmer Pickering. So yeah, this is the sequel to the second book in the Tales of Temerity, a lit RPG series. I haven't read the first book yet, but I have read one book by Palmer Pickering. It was a Heliotrope, which it was a good classic fantasy written with a modern narrative, and I really quite enjoyed that slow burn epic fantasy. But I haven't read anything else by Palmer Pickering yet. She has written a lot of books as well. But one of the nice things about this self-published fantasy book is that it comes with a lot of interior artwork, such as this one, and this is spread throughout the entire novel, and I think that's great dedication. And yeah, looking forward to reading this eventually. And moving on, we have a copy of the first book in the Card Mage series by Benedict Petrik. So this is Slumdog Deck Builder. Yeah, this is the hardcover edition. And it is basically a trade hardcover. It doesn't come with acid-free paper or soon binding, as far as I know, but it comes with plenty of interior artwork done by Dennis Corneff. And one of the nice things about it is that they are actually done in full color. Let me show you a few of them here. Ta-da! This is one of them. So yeah, but as you can see from the binding, this is not floppy, and it doesn't come with soon binding, but I think this is a nice way for the Kickstarter campaign to actually put some colored interior artwork into the production of the book. But onward to the next one. This is something I'm incredibly excited about because I finally have a copy of Champion of the Fallen by M.L. Spencer. So yeah, take a look at this gorgeous cover art by Sutiwa Tejakampu. Similar, the same cover artist as the first book, Dragon Mage, and Dragon Mage is one of my favorite books ever. It was originally written as a one-off standalone, but many demands begs M.L. Spencer to turn it into a series. So this is now a series called Riven World, and yeah, I am so excited about this. As I said, Dragon Mage is classic epic fantasy done right, in my opinion. It is a dragon rider epic fantasy, as you can tell from the cover art. And you want to see something funny about the dedication page for this one? To Petrik, the champion of the fallen. I think that's super nice. But yeah, really pumped about this. If it's as good or even better than Dragon Mage, then I know this will be another one of my favorite books of all time. But now, let's talk about the special edition for Self-Published Fantasy books that I got. The first 4 special editions that I want to spotlight today, that I want to talk about, is from Petrik Books. I think they are really great. They're doing really amazing now. And this is for The Legend of Tal, the second volume by J.D.L. Rossell. So yeah, the cover art is done by Rachel St. Clair. It comes with this emboss and also foil. It's really nice. This is the back cover. And of course, this comes with end paper, map end paper, and also plenty of interior artwork. And yeah, I haven't read this one. I heard this is recommended to those of us who love The Witcher and also framing narrative, which always bodes well for me. So I'm going to show you one of the interior artwork here. This is done by Joe Requeza. And yeah, it is epic. Ta-da! But moving on to the next one. I don't want to spend too much of your time here. Next, we have a copy of the second omnibus edition in the Frith Mage Chronicles by Shami Stovall. So this is the cover art, this is the spine, and this is the back cover. So yeah, just like the first book, the first omnibus, it comes with this beautiful end paper. And on the back, we have this bestiary, a list of bestiary from the novels, all of them done in full color. So yeah, this has been pitched often as Pokemon meets Harry Potter. And yeah, I think many of us will end up enjoying reading this kind of book. So yeah, look at this. So beautiful, so many color interior artwork on the back. And yeah, thank you so much to Shami Stovall and also to Petrik Books for sending me a copy of this. And also, I need to mention that every book comes with this, every chapter comes with this beautiful chapter headers. And yeah, onward to the next book that I got from Petrik Books. This is for the first book in the Grimnir Chronicles by Brady Hunsaker. So this is for the Depths of Vanelf. So this is the slipcase. Ta-da! This is the back. And this is the hardcover. Beautiful design, beautiful foiling really. And on the back, it is said that to rise, one must first hit the bottom. And this again comes with this end paper and several interior artworks, gilded edges, and of course, Smithson binding and acid-free paper. I think that's one of the beautiful things about this Kickstarter campaign. They can do many great things with their books, high production value. And of course, this comes with this Ghost Age as well. I don't know if you can see it here, but see, you can. When you see it like this, it is simple gilded edges, but when you flip it open, well, it shows the artwork done by Jeff Brown, which is also on the back and paper. So yeah, really cool. And finally, the last Petrik Books special edition that I got, it is for Bastion by Phil Tucker, book 1 of the Immortal Great Souls. So this one is a heavyweight. But as I mentioned several times in my YouTube videos, I haven't finished reading Bastion yet. It's like almost 1,000 pages long. But this time, Phil Tucker has decided to publish the entire series in this high-end production value edition. And yeah, look at this beautiful end paper. It is done by Mansik Young, and also, I think in the front end paper as well. Ta-da! And yeah, just like all the Petrik Books that I just showed you, everything everything in their edition usually comes with beautiful interior artwork as well, and Bastion is not an exception to that. I'm going to show you one of them here. Ta-da! Look at this double spread. It's beautiful. I guess I will be reading the Immortal Great Soul series using this beautiful deluxe edition now. Again, thank you so much to Phil Tucker and also Matic Books for sending me a copy of this beautiful copy, really. As for the two final special edition for self-published fantasy books that I got, they are actually from the Broken Binding, and they are part of the Broken Binding Press edition. First, we have Sistah Samurai. So this is the slipcase, and this is the front of the slipcase, and here is the book. So this is still wrapped in plastic, so it might be hard for you to see the cover out here. But yeah, I did work on this one together with Tatiana Obe, and we had a great time working on this novella. It is great. It is a great novella, and I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it if you are looking for a samurai inspired novella. It's good. It's really good, and it's fun, I think, to read something short and also satisfying once in a while. Because most of the time the books that I read, they are really, really big. And now, moving on to the final special edition for self-published fantasy book I got, it is finally the Broken Binding Press edition for 11th Cycle by Kian Ardalan. So this features this same cover art done by Nino Is, and then we have this new map, newly polished and designed map, and of course plenty of interior artwork as well. This is actually an amazing book in my opinion. It is a Berserk and also Dark Souls inspired epic fantasy novel, and this is look at this. I believe this one is done by Harkale Linai, and this is a scene from the book. And there are plenty other interior artwork. I'm going to show you one more here. And just like the other Broken Binding Press edition, this comes with soon binding and also acid-free paper. And this is one of the 2-page interior artwork inside the book. So yeah, I don't know what's the status of the second book in the Mistland series here. Hopefully it will be out soon. I definitely enjoyed the first book a lot, but it has been a while since I've read 11th Cycle. But before we go back to talk about special editions again, I will leave that for the last section in today's video. Let's talk about books that I got from traditional publishers. First, we have The Revenant of Suro Lifia by Florence Chen. So this one, I heard that it is Code Geass inspired. That's really all I need to hear. I don't think I know anything else about the book, but hearing that it is Code Geass inspired, well, I have to read it. Code Geass is one of the best anime of all time. It is incredible, truly incredible, and I hope this one will be able to capture the fragment of brilliance from that anime. But yeah, this is a debut novel. I think it will be out this month, actually in July. So yeah, make sure to pick it up. And speaking of debut, the next one that I want to talk about is The Demon Star by J.C. Aragon. So I have read this one, really enjoyed it. I believe I gave it 4 stars. I really need to start writing the book review for The Demon Star, but yeah, I enjoyed this one. It is ambitious science fantasy novel. And I think it is clear, if you have read the book, that sci-fi series like Dune, Hyperion, they are part of the inspirations that become the backbone for The Demon Star. I believe currently this is a standalone, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know, there are definitely rooms for more books in the series. Definitely after reading the book, I'm confident about that. But for now, it is quite satisfying as a standalone novel as well. And the cover art, it is actually illustrated by Kieran Yanner. I think some of you might know him for his work on the cover art of the Sun Eater series by Christopher Rocchio. But yeah, I really enjoyed reading this one, and I will try to post my review of it really soon. As for the next 4 books that I want to talk about, all of them were gifted to me from Ethan Books, and I want to say thank you so much to Ethan Books for giving me a copy of this. I think some of you might know about this. This is He Who Fights with Monsters by Travis Deverill or Shertalun. And yeah, this I think is a lit RPG. Main character is named Jason, transported to a new world. That's all I know. Really, that's a premise of many lit RPG novels or portal fantasy. But this comes with this deluxe hardcover edition with this and paper and also this board. Would you like to loot a potent hamster? Take a look at this. Yeah, it is foiled, and yeah, this comes with this reversible cover art of the front covers, but without the typography. So yeah, it looks really nice, and I look forward to reading this one. This is actually super popular in the lit RPG and progression fantasy community. I mean, as you can tell from the back cover here, it got praises from Matt Dinneman, Andrew Rowe, and Zogart. And yeah, thank you so much to 11th Books for sending me this one. For the next two books, these are both written by Andrew Sigil. So this is for Ironbound, and also the second book, Cold Wind. I don't actually know how many books will be in the series. I think this is a quartet, but again, correct me if I'm wrong. But this is a Roman-inspired epic fantasy series, just like Codex Alera and also the Hierarchy series by James Hamilton. I heard great things about this series. Andrew Givler also actually wrote an urban fantasy series that, with the cover art done by Chris McGrath, that is so reminiscent of the Dresden Files series. I think that is indeed one of the main inspirations behind that urban fantasy series. So Givler, I think. If I'm not mistaken, that's the name of the series. But this one is a Roman-inspired epic fantasy series, which I think would be more suitable to my reading taste. And finally, the last book that I got from 11th Books, this is for, I think, another portal fantasy or lit RPG novel. So this is Jake's Magical Market, written by J.R. Matthews. So again, don't know too much about this one, other than many people said that it is really good and the average rating for this is actually really high. And yeah, looking forward to reading this. I think this is the first time the book actually got a physical hardcover edition. So yeah, I know that my TBR is just overflowing now, but it is always great to have options to choose which one I want to read. Now I'm going to talk about books that I got from Orbit Books. First, we have The Last Contract of Hisako by Fondali. So yeah, this is the trade hardcover edition. Of course, I absolutely love this book. It is written by Fondali. I think it is, if it is written by Fondali, that is a really good chance I will end up loving it. Just like the Greenbone Saga, The Untethered Sky, and of course, The Last Contract of Hisako. I love everything that she writes. And this is, of course, another contender for one of my favorite books of the year. And then we have The Dance of Burning Blades by M.H. Ayinde. So this is the sequel to A Song of Legends Lost, a debut epic fantasy novel that I read last year, and I really enjoyed it. And this cover art is done by Richard Anderson. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, I call this one kind of like a Shaman King and also Horizon Zero Dawn inspired epic fantasy. I think those are great comparisons and also matchup for this series. The Invoker trilogy. I'm already looking forward to reading this book and also trying to find out what the cover art of the third book will be. Richard Anderson is an amazing artist, and yeah, this is gorgeous. And next we have the second book in the Captives War series. This is The Fate of Beasts, written by James S. Corey. I'm a big fan of the Expanse series or anything written by J.D.L. Abraham, but I haven't read the Captives series yet. The first book is The Mercy of Gods, and this is The Fate of Beasts is the sequel with the cover art by Daniel Doshu again. And if you have read the Captive War series, please let me know whether it is as good as the Expanse series or not. I think this is a trilogy, but again, I could be wrong about that. So for the next two books, I'm going to show two editions at once because let's just talk about them together. So first we have the Book of Fallen Leaves by Alex Tamaki. So this is a Japanese-inspired epic fantasy, I believe suitable for us who actually read and enjoyed Shogun. Yeah, that's the pitch anyway, Shogun meets Game of Thrones. But I haven't read the Book of Fallen Leaves yet. But I know that several people that I followed on Bookstagram really enjoyed the Book of Fallen Leaves, such as Brothers Gwyn and also Alicia Fortune Reads. I think that's the name of her. That's the name of her account, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I heard several great things from people that I followed. And this is the Broken Binding edition. It basically comes with a with a yellow color instead of red, and it also comes with these edges. But other than that, I don't think there are any new artwork for the Broken Binding edition of the Book of Fallen Leaves. But moving on to the next one, we have Still Gods by Richard Swan. The cover art is done by Philip Harris. Absolutely beautiful. The overall composition is reminiscent of Empire of the Vampire trilogy by J. Christoph. So this is the Orbit hardcover edition. And ta-da! Now you might think that this is the same cover art. And yeah, it is. But this is actually the Broken Binding edition. This comes with this edges by Hannah Baker and also this sandpaper by Renee Eichner and this gorgeous board art by Hannah Baker again. And yeah, I had a great time working on this series together with Richard Swan. And I think this turns out really nicely. We're going to start the work on the third book really soon. But I've been talking about the broken binding for a while now. Let's move on to the final section of today's book haul video. It is time to talk about the special edition that I got from the broken binding and also from Owlcrate. And the first one, we have This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me by Ilona Andrews. I think they're mostly well known for their work on the Kate Daniel series, which is an urban fantasy series, but I haven't read anything by Ilona Andrews yet. And also my fellow friend at the Broken Binding actually told me that this is one of her favorite books of the year. So yeah, I definitely will have to pick this one up. But yeah, this is, I think, a portal fantasy novel. And then we have Sisters of the Lizard by Jackson Ford. And yeah, this is the second book in the Rakada series. This is the front cover. This is the back cover. I haven't read anything by Jackson Ford yet. So let me know if you have read this one. Look forward to reading this. The cover looks quite nice though. Kind of reminded me of Avatar: The Last Airbender somehow. And then we have Taipan by James Clavell. This is the second book in the Asian Saga series, but it is not a direct sequel to Shogun. But I decided to hire Jungshan Ing again to work on this book, together with my fellow art director, Eon. He's mostly in charge of this project. I just worked together with him on the composition and also choosing the artist, because we want this to match in the entire Asian Saga series. I don't know how many we will do though, but yeah, as long as we are doing them, we will try to match every edition in the Shogun or Asian Saga series by James Clavell. But I think this one turns out really nice. This is the end paper. Ta-da! And this is the board. So yeah, and the next two books that I got from the Broken Binding, these are for the dwarfs and also the War of the Dwarfs. So yeah, these are both illustrated by Jorge Jacinto, the cover art, or JJ Canvas. Some of you might know him as JJ Canvas on Instagram. And yeah, I think this turns out really nicely. This features a wraparound cover art all the way to the edges, and same case for this one. You can see these two dwarfs looking at this comet here. And yeah, I think it's beautiful. And let me know what you think about this one. I heard several great things about dwarfs, but I don't think many people talk about this series often now. But let's move on to the final three books I got from the Broken Binding. These are all part of the SFNF subscription. So first we have for the month of March, which is Green and Deadly Things by Jen Lyons. This one features cover art by Michelle Georgi, and also end papers by Hazem Amin. And yeah, I think the end papers and also cover art turns out really nice. The back end paper looks really epic. And yeah, this is the edges done by Rachel Sinclair. And yeah, the cover art is, as I mentioned, a wraparound cover art illustrated by Mikhail Georgi. And then we have Daughter of Crows by Mark Lawrence. This features a cover art by Christopher Chant. And take a look at this. This is the wraparound cover art. I think it turns out really nice. And this is the end paper done by Jelena. I'm so looking forward to reading the second book in Daughter of Crows, by the way. It felt refreshing for Mark Lawrence to actually go back to writing this kind of grimdark fantasy again. But yeah, this is the edges, by the way. The edges is really, really cool in my opinion. It is done by Jeff Brown. I pitched it to him that I wanted a character from the book standing on the middle of the edges, and then there is corpses on the ground and also crow flying to the sky. And yeah, I think this looks really nice. And finally, we have for the month of May, The Girl with a Thousand Faces by Sunyi Dean. And yeah, of course, the project for this one is actually handled mostly by Rachel Sinclair together with me. But Rachel is the lead AD for this project, The Girl with a Thousand Faces. And yeah, this is the end paper. It is done by Charis Look. Charis is great. I love working with Charis. And this is the back and paper. Sorry, I'm closing this one because just in case this count as spoiler. I don't think it count as spoiler, but just in case. And this is the foil design by Rachel. Look at that. It is gorgeous. And yeah, that's pretty much SFNF subs up to the month of May. I don't have the one for the month of June yet, but it should be here really soon. And finally, for the final 5 books that I want to talk about, they all came from Owlcrate. And if you want to get them, well, check out the link in the description down below. And yeah, they all came with this beautiful, not only beautiful cover art, but also Smithsonian binding and also acid-free paper. That gives a lot of value to their production. And this is Starter Villain by John Scalzi. I haven't read anything by John Scalzi yet, and I actually got 2 copies of Starter Villain, one from Owlcrate and one gifted to me by my friend, Arlis. Really, one of my great friends, really. Without Arlis, I don't think it would be possible for me to own these many books. But this is on the back cover. Humans do a good job of making outcasts, and look at this end paper. It's really nice. Ta-da! There's a cat, and also there's this, I don't know, detective, I think. But yeah, looking forward to reading this. But again, I haven't read anything by John Scalzi yet. I have met him once though, when I was at Worldcon in 2024. As for the next 3 books, this is for the Illumine edition of the Illumine series by J. Christoph and also Amy Kaufman. So yeah, this is the Owlcrate edition. They're gorgeous. This is Illumine. Yeah, really nice. I think this is a beautiful design. And also this is Gemina. Ta-da! It features this wraparound cover art, also beautiful typography placement. And finally, Obsidio. This is the 3rd book in the series. And yeah, I think Owlcrate did a great job on this series. Really, I cannot praise them highly enough for the cover artwork. The cover artwork is really nice, in my opinion. And yeah, those are the 3 books that I got from Owlcrate for the Illumine files. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, these all came with acid-free paper and also Smithson binding. And this is all 3 of them together. Look at the spine. And this is the edges. They feature this holographic edges, I think. But yeah, and finally for the last book, because I begin this video with this book, and let me end this video with this book as well. This is for the Pod Empress, the Owlcrate edition, and I still have a hard time deciding whether this edition or the Illumicrate edition is actually better. But Illumicrate edition features this white and also Chinese ink cover art and also artwork, really. This one features red. And I think both actually fits into the context of the Poet Empress. And that this on the back cover, power is such a wicked thing. And then this is the end paper. And of course, we have to see the board art. Look at that. This is insane. This is done by Toyo. I don't think I have worked with Toyo yet, but yeah, this is something truly special because look at this. This is probably the highlight, the reversible cover art. Look at that, done by Rowan Ellis. And I think this is the first time I actually see reversible cover art with a holographic foil. It's amazing. And yeah, I think I will have to use this one as the front cover eventually. But again, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this is one of my favorite books of all time now, and I'm glad I own these many copies of the Poet Empress. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the books that I got in the month of April and also in the month of May. I wasn't kidding at the beginning of this video that I got a lot of books in the past 3 months. I haven't even talked about the books that I got in the month of June. Let's see whether I can fit that into this month. But let's start talking about SFF Spotlight soon, and also other books recommendations, preferably. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. Do let me know what you think about the books that I talk about in today's video. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye-bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.